Finally, once. So, hello everyone, and welcome to the last call of our 9Trannies series. And where will we go today? Did anybody guess what the last 9Tranny is? Anybody put it in the chat? You guys keeping track?
Transliteration.
I was surprised if that wasn't the first one. That seems to be one that's very popular and a lot of people ask about. And what do you guys all know, be, perceive, and receive about transliteration that you are refusing to acknowledge what you be, know, perceive about it? So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. So I'm going to try something a little different here. I'm going to invite us to, one, connect with our body. So if you can touch yourself anywhere, to have that contact and just feel your hands on your skin. Yep. Yeah. And your skin on your hands. Just get a sense of your body in that space. Your feet on the floor, and the floor touching your feet. And wherever you're sitting, your bottom on that seat. And allow yourself to also receive that seat touching you. Cool. I'm going to also invite us to drop our barriers even more. Whatever you guys were doing before, all the energies that were coming up, everything you were trying to figure out or compute. Yeah, wherever you had gone before this, would you be willing to invite yourself to either put that to the side or ask, what can this call contribute to that? So everything that is and anything that doesn't allow it, right, wrong, good and bad, pan, pack, all nine shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. Cool. Hey, how you all be? It's been so awesome. I've seen a couple people here now and getting to hug some bodies that have been on the calls, and but happy to see you guys all online. How are you? What's up? Transliteration, our last tranny, and we can go many, many places. So where would you guys like to begin? Yeah. And I'm going to ask that one more time, and I'm going to invite us as well to this energy of asking. You know, that's been coming up a lot for me, and becoming aware where I'm not asking, like where I'm that sense of being in reaction to what other people are choosing, my work, what's required, rather than what can I ask for? What would I like? So in this series of 9 trannies that we've had, we've gone over 8 of the 9 up until this point, and really now going, wow, if I can ask for anything now, what would I ask? Part of the magic of the 9 trannies is also asking. So are you asking to create your life, your future, and the magic in your life, or are you letting it all happen to you? So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pan, pack, all 9 shorts, boys, povats, and beyonds. It's interesting in that sense of with this whole thing of the NORs, the need of reactive realities, like how many things are we choosing where we then go into reaction rather than choice and creation. So right before our call, but right before we went on, I made a call to my son, and it was very interesting because this energy came up and I was like, oh, I reacted to that whisper. Oh, I'm going to give him a call. And my sense is now is that maybe he had me in his awareness. So that quick reaction to, oh, I'll give him a call. There was no question. So it's like that is also becoming aware of where do we react rather than going to question. So everything that is and everything that brings up, and all the big fours, which you guys have heard about, right? You got the PRs, the NORs, the need of reactive realities, the NOR slimes, the need of reactive response systems, and then it was the AI actualizers. ¿verdad? Sí. So all of the big fours, will you all destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pan pac, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. Cool. All of those. Thank you, Stella. And you guys will then be hearing about the big 5 now, because there's a 5th one. But it's so interesting of, looking at the 9 trannies oftentimes, and we may have started that on our very first call, but that oftentimes where we allow ourselves this space of magic, or the 9 trannies, that space is usually in the case of emergencies, right? When you're in that reactive state of like, okay, this needs to happen now, right? And it's a reaction to something. But we haven't allowed ourselves to know that it's available all the time. So now there's also this moment of where, how many things are you guys using to save other people and not to create? So everything that is, and everything that brings up, will you all destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pan pac, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. So with transliteration in all 9 trannies, like, have you guys been asking him to actually create and have way more available? Or is it to have them use them as a reaction to solving something that's not working, or to help someone else, rather than going, wow, if I can create anything, if I can ask for anything, what would I ask for? Why have these capacities? So everything that is, and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pan pac, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. Yeah. So a bit of intense. And we just completed day 5 of certified facilitators in Rome. So, and beautiful Olga, I got to see her out here. And some of you may have been online, but yeah, yes, we hugged for a long time. It was like, oh, and I was like, that's okay. We're here live together. We can hug. It's good. But this sense too, that if things are weird in your world, go to question, please, because there is lots and lots of change a coming here. And you're not wrong. Try as you might still not be wrong. Hashtag still not wrong. All right. Transliteration. Olga's creating some interesting things with her laptop. That's fine. I created something funny with my laptop. I had to jump on Neemfeece's laptop. She's brilliant and fast, and had it all set up with me. I'm all, oh no. And she was great. So great. We have Stella and then Simone. Let's go to your question.
So well, I really, this is one of my favorite trainees, and it became to me so it was so clear for me how it's important, maybe how it is important when we had the amazing class in Bogota, because it felt like that's the first one that we allow ourselves to tap into, or maybe that's the first one that I allowed myself to tap into.
Nice
I can't
cat.
I can't speak for everybody, but that's like the pool that is easy for you to get into, like, oh, magic is so easy. And I wanted to talk about, like, how can we make all other trainees as easy as this one? Like, can I ask for that? How can I ask for that ease that transliteration is for me, for all other trainees? And also, like, this sense of,
I'm going to stop you real quick, Stella, because you're saying, can I? And I joked around saying, no, you can't. Will you ask for that?
can I?
No.
Damn it.
No, I mean, we're playing here, but there
Mhm.
many of you are waiting for the permission
Yeah.
to have something, to ask for something? Yeah, see, Simone said she does not allow it either. Will
Yeah.
you ask that?
Yes. And also this sense of they are just like so close, like they're just like right here, you know.
But
And
they are right there. So what could you ask for? Like they are there. All of these are right there. But it's beautiful how you're saying like this one, I know it's the easiest one. All of you, if you look at all 9 trannies, which one is it for you? Which one is it? You know, for me was transmigration was probably the first one I acknowledged. Like, oh yeah, beyond a doubt, clear, obvious, like, you know, and yet like that part that you said, it's like, oh, this one you haven't. And then there's some or one or two or more that you're like, I don't get it. And I
this is
could
too science fiction for me.
everything
This is
that is, yeah, and everything that brings up. Yep. Yeah. All the trannies or whatever the number of trannies you have that are too science fiction for you, will you destroy and uncreate all that?
yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pan pac, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. Yeah. And all the AI actualizers, like everywhere that even that comment, this is too science fiction for me, is the AI pulling it back. Like, this is not possible. Hello, wake up, reality. So everything that is, and 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 all of that, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pan pac, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds.
My body's just like and really like I would like to have way more magic in my life in this world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
So that's your ask?
maybe or it's just like there's almost a need here
Yeah.
to for things to be different now. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things that will contribute to that is start to acknowledge however small of a thing it is that is different, and start to acknowledge your choice. Because things are that will show up a certain way, but you have choice. You're not at the effect. And this is what I'm saying. It's like, are we asking, or are we just letting things happen
Mhm.
at the effect? Because how many of us think, well, if I just shut down and withdraw, then I'll be fine, rather than, okay, what else is possible here? What can I ask? What can I be to change this?
Yeah, withdrawing is not working.
Yeah. So how many of you are withdrawing, avoiding, or refusing to ask a question, be an energy space and consciousness that would allow you to claim, own, and acknowledge what it is that you know, be, perceive, and receive about the 9 trannies or anything else? And anything that doesn't allow that, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pan pac, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds.
Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome. Thank you. Marike, I think. I was trying to think of how you wrote it last time, Simone, for me to give me the cue phonetics. But she said, yes, transmigration was the first contact I had to 9 trannies, even before I heard of them. Yeah. And this is the gift of beginning to acknowledge, what is it that you've always known? What, you start to hear about things, you're like, wait a moment, I've known that. So for many of you, maybe that's been something you've acknowledged throughout the series, like, oh yeah, transmigration, translocation, whatever it's been for you, something you've already known. Cool. Simone.
Hi. So today there was a question popping up. With translation, we oftentimes go to languages, and like there's so much more languages than Spanish, German, English. So there's also the language of creation, the language of taxes, the language of money probably. And I would like to have a look at like creation, like if people are really extremely different in creating, and it might be I have a lot of big fives around. Yeah, when people are like, there's, yeah, whatever. I just had the situation where like I could see we are so different with creating, and then at a certain point there kicks the wrongness, and there was not really a way to do it together, because I could sense all the expectations, and I just know that's not me. It's not required. I cannot see one of that points that seems to be so important here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so interesting. I just want to go straight into it. And all the big fives, which is,
Yeah,
you know, like, let's just scoop it all out. So I'm just going to go there, and then we'll see what else comes up. So all the big fives have with all of that. Okay. If you want to write them out, Estella, just so we have them all, but that's all your PRs, all your NORS, slimes, A actualizers, and everywhere you're saving people. That's 5. And then create all that. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys and povets and beyonds. So when you're talking about language of creation, so what have you defined creation to be? And what have you made right about creation, how it should be? Okay. So everything that is in all the big fives with that, we destroy and uncreate it all. Right, wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. Because when you're talking about, you know, I'm actually looking at creating something, but I'm noticing that this, when you can have no point of view, you will open up to receiving way more. When you have a point of view, you can only receive that point of view will give you. So you can then justify that you were right and you're not wrong.
To me, there was a lack of question. There was so many fixed points. Like I was kind of stuck. I could not really move anymore.
Okay, so what were you could not move anymore, or what
With
were
the
you
thing, it was just like at a certain point, like, oh, you know,
So
the light just
working
went.
with someone else? Were you
Say
working,
again?
were you working with someone else?
Yeah.
Cool. So was that the
Like
energy?
with the whole team, but like with the whole team, and I was like, I could sense how they tried to order me in this thing there, like, ugh. Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your question with this again? Like, what's the question?
Yeah, what, like, I was kind of, at a certain point, I gave up on the creation. I was like, that's not fun. And then I pulled out, I guess. And I
Yeah.
wonder what else is possible. Like, what could have I asked or been different there? Or
So the 4 questions, what is this?
Mhm.
Like, what was it? What could you have done with it? And is it something you could have changed? Cool.
Mhm.
So if no, cool, I'm out. You got to be aware when people are not willing to change their point of view. And it's like, why even go there? I mean, how many of you, when someone's not willing to change their point of view, you go in trying to save them? Well, let me see if I can explain it. Let me try to give them another angle. Like, if I ask them this question, maybe it'll open up another possibility, but are they even looking to change their point of view?
Yeah. Weird.
It's okay. You pulled out. Cool.
No, actually, the other
Awesome.
person pulled out, but I guess I pulled out energetically first, and then the things like,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Someone else talk.
Yeah. No, you're good.
And I guess that's the part of the saving, because I'm so good in making the other person leave, then it looks like it was their choice and they feel better because like they could go. And I pretend I have a problem then, which I know it's also not true. Like, it's so interesting to see the patterns.
Yeah. So when you're bringing up transliteration, the ability, you know, Stella wrote it here too, but it's the ability to speak any language and understand all languages. So again, I would look at destroying and uncreating what we've even defined to understand and to speak, right? You're talking about the language of creation. It's like, okay, we have elements of creation, right? So, but in that moment, it's like, so what's right about that right now that you're perhaps haven't acknowledged?
Yeah, like for me, it's like I'm often getting stuck when I have to deal with a lot of like people that have a lack of question in their world. Like to me, it's so much more easier when their question there's just in gratitude and fun and play.
So do you go to question to have them have an awareness of where they're functioning from?
Can you say more? If I ask them, if I ask me?
Yeah. Well, them, like in the moment, it's like, what's the question you could ask in that moment? It's like,
I mean, I did put questions in. It was not really like, yeah. I guess it's just like it's water and fire coming together.
cool. And maybe it wasn't going to be fun.
Yeah. It was
Like,
really a fun energy at the beginning, but then the more we get to the creation, it's like,
yeah. And then just being aware of that, right? That sometimes the logistics of what people do with creation after that to bring the order, it's like, okay, is that required? Okay, cool. If it's not, what else is possible? It's like,
yeah.
so are you in anywhere judging you right now for that? Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's the AIs.
Yeah,
So
there's that I should have done it different, like because there were certain things I could have done, but there was no energy and no time. And then
but
everything,
all the AIs, because now it's the need of reactive reality. Everywhere you're justifying, trying to have reason for what you chose. Those are all the AI. So all the big fours there, and then the big five. Well, you destroy and uncreate it all,
yeah.
right? Bad panpak, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. And this is the part, like, notice this energy. Okay, I pulled out, didn't choose it. Okay, wasn't like next. Now what?
Yeah.
How much energy are you going to put in to turning this to try to figure it out?
It's more like to protect me in the future from the same shit happening,
Yeah.
which is,
Yes. And those are the big fives.
yeah.
It has to go back to the past to somehow look at the past to try to figure out so it doesn't happen again. That loops you back, loops you back, loops you back, rather than like, okay, cool. That's what I chose. What am I aware of? Okay. What gift is this now for what I can choose in the future? But with a different energy of moving to the future rather than sitting in the shit to try to figure it out so it
Mhm.
doesn't happen again.
Like with all of this, we really went to the reference material, like a friend and I, and looked up the Möbius stripes, which is like, if you have the reference material, read that. It's wow. Like with the together with the big fives now to add that, it's like, have you read it lately?
Yeah, I mean, I've read some, but I haven't looked at it like to have it fresh in my awareness. I mean, and sometimes certain choices, it's the gift that you went into the Mobius strip. So where else did that gift you now? Or your facilitation is like, oh, there it is again. Okay. What else can I choose?
What I recall is like the Möbius stripes regenerate themselves. And I guess it's the AI actualizer, how that plays together. And then you loop your in, yeah. So
what now be aware of the energy of that loop. Okay. And now you have that. So things will show up and you may notice that energy again. And now you know, whoa, am I in a Mobius strip? I am. What other choice do I have here?
yeah. Yeah. Cool. So I remember Dane saying language of creation, SOP is a language of creation. So
Yeah. So it's that moment of also being in a conversation and know you can SOP it as you're in the conversation.
I'm so funny. Sometimes I'm so with the other person that sometimes I have not all the tools present, available.
And this is like, hey, sticky notes on your computer, I don't know, reminders, alarms, whatever it takes. But if an energy is like not moving, you get to ask something. You get to ask, what can I be here to change this? What's the one molecule I can rotate, right? We talked about that last time, 180 degrees. What's the one thing energetically that where can I create more space here?
Yeah.
So yeah, and everywhere you haven't acknowledged what you be, that doesn't require the doing. Well, you destroy and uncreate all that. Right and wrong, good and bad, fun, pack, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds.
That's still for most people wrong. Yeah. Wow.
And ask for the people that are going to create in a fun way with you to show up.
Yeah. Universe surprised me. I'm asking for miracles here.
Yeah, it's kind of like Stella, that demand. It's like, hey, way more magic. Fuck.
Yeah.
But we got to start acknowledging that we have choice, that we get to ask. I've been just aware of, it's like, wow, I wake up and am I actually asking to create my day? Or am I just like, okay, this is what I do. Dun, dun, dun. It's like, fuck, it's a muscle. Anything you get to ask. You know, this is, you know, part of the gift of the ESB's 30 days that Dane was doing. Is like, he had everyone asking every single day, if you could get anything out of this, what would it be? Every day. And it's like, you know, maybe 3, 4 days. I remember the first time, I think I listed like 6 things and I'm like, oh, wait, I should save them 1 each day. Like I might run out of asks, like, right. And it's like, so what are we hoarding? You know, it's like, oh, for a rainy day, I have this special ask. What, right. It's insane.
Yeah. And you know what else was coming? Like, I was yesterday in a train and there was a guy next to me, and he was so interesting because he said like boredom is the most amazing creative element, because if you're bored long enough, you start to reach out for different possibilities. I mean, he did not put it in these words.
Well, I would say yes, if you're in question and looking to create possibilities. Most people get bored and then create shit or create the problems to then solve so you can make your life interesting, that you're doing something.
That's interesting. As I function more like him, for me was like, oh yeah, that's correct. Let me go just to distraction of social media, but actually like when you're bored, you start to be curious about something to get out, you know, of boredom.
Then notice what you do when you're bored, because yes, that might be a reality and a possibility. If you're bored, okay, start asking some questions. What else can I create? What's available? True, but not everybody. And then start noticing what shows up and going, am I creating this because I'm bored? Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, you start to notice your life. It starts to notice what you do the first thing you wake up. Is that for creation or in reaction to? All right. I think I'm going to move on to the next question, Simone. Again, stay on the topic of transliteration. Thank you so much, Simone. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Next. Ashlyn.
Hello, Sylvia. I certainly have a severe sore throat starting from yesterday, the being you day. I have done a body process in bars, and some interesting point of view come up, but I have to do some gearing, but still painful.
So all the big fours with that, right? Because things show up and then we go to conclusion, or we go to what does that mean? And then we start to relate it to something. Oh, that must have been big, you know, the being you day. Maybe I'm not being me, like, you know, I'm losing my voice. So maybe I don't have my voice. That's all like the AI is getting you back into your head to try to figure something out. So every way your head to try to figure something out of why this is a problem, will you destroy and uncreate it all?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. So sweet buddy, what is this? What do I
Oh,
do?
I can finally listen to my body. After important point before.
Wow, the gift of your body going, hello. Yeah. So if you start to ask, like, what is this? Okay, body, what can I do here?
Mm.
Can I change this? If so, how do I change this? And what gift is this that I haven't acknowledged? Like if it was not a problem. All right,
Oh.
sweet. I've had interesting, the last couple days, I've noticed an intensity in my hand, and I caught myself because all of a sudden it was like, whoa, this reality is this carpal tunnel, all the masturbation finally catching up to me. No, just kidding. But it's like I started to go, all right, carpal tunnel. But it caught myself and I go, oh, interesting. So I let that go and I was like, okay. And it's like, it's not even like I went through a process, but it was just like, okay, I'm letting that go. And then it was like, it's kind of being the 4 questions, like, okay, what is this? And then it was like, okay, so can I change this? And then it was just playing with giving it space. Because the moment you go to a conclusion, it's a solidity and it makes that real. Right.
Mm.
So then I noticed, today or the other days was like, oh, it's not there anymore. Cool. But even though it's not there anymore, it made it real because it was real when it was there. And this is the gift of, wait, truth, who does it belong to? So truth, does it belong to you?
Oh, God. When you ask the question, is that gift that I haven't acknowledged, then the pain disappear. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. And keep being in question, and whatever it is that you can be or do to create the space. Because notice when you guys go into worry, contraction, or making something wrong, how much that's a solidity, and there's no space. There's no space for possibility. There's no space for receiving. So this is the gift of a question. You go to question, you're creating space. If you pock and pod your conclusions and everything you decided, is to create more space. Yeah.
Mm.
So start to notice that in your body now. It's like, so how many conclusions do you have right now that are contracting? Yeah. Your body, your being. Yeah. Yeah. And everything you aligned with, greed, reacted, resisted, will you now destroy and uncreate all that times a godzillion?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pan, pack, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds.
Cool. Thank you, Super Fans.
You're welcome. And notice, I don't know if it's coming up for you guys, but there's a sense of like this teary eye kind of energy there, like being present. It's like, wow, how much do we contract with going to figure out things, computing, judging ourselves? That's all this like fuck on the body, right? And it's like, if we're truly going to be the magical infinite beings we're going to be, we got to really be aware of the energy we're being. Is it contracting or is it space? Did I go to figuring out? Okay, pocket pod, pocket pod. Okay, what else am I aware of here? What other choices do I have?
Mm.
Right? Just, and then with that courageous will, take the next step. Get up, whatever, brush your teeth, whatever it is. It's like next step, the next step.
Okay.
Cool. More space, more and more
Thank
space.
you.
And notice, as we've gone into some of these questions, that sense of contraction, whether it's the wrongness or whatever that is, the moment we go to space of allowance, how much that relaxes more your bodies and the space, right? It's like, okay, and that's these the tools. What's the gift here I'm not getting? Oh, barriers drop a little more, you expand. Okay, what's right about me I'm not getting? Right? What else is possible I haven't considered?
Wow.
What could I,
And it's like it's so peaceful, joyful. Yeah.
yeah. Would an infinite being choose this? No, then what the fuck am I choosing? But it's not the wrongness of whatever's showing up. It's just how we're responding to it, how we're being with it. That part. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Thank you. Yay. And Luthi, thank you. She goes, I'm realizing that today we are starting the first day of the next 9 Trannies season. Yeah. Wow. Yes. I get that there's definitely a whole entire new energy and possibility. And let's acknowledge we also have a class coming up in August with Gary Day Simone of the 9 Trannies. So yeah. Yep. Luthi also wrote, my body is so intense this last weeks. It's so uncomfortable sometimes and perceiving that I'm avoiding a lot of things and I'm not choosing the joy. Cool. So that's an awareness. That's the gift. That's an awareness. So now what? You know, it's this part of allowing yourself to be aware of that uncomfortable. Okay. And perceiving that I'm avoiding a lot of things. So truth, what am I avoiding? Okay, and if I didn't avoid this, what choice could I make right now? What action can I take? Because this part of withdrawing, like if I withdraw enough, I won't feel anything. I won't have to perceive the intensity of my choice or avoiding conflict or yes, right? Whatever it is, like I'm just gonna step back, go in my little cave, you know, and not that going to a cave is wrong, whether you do it through, you know, a series of Netflix I did the other day all the way till the birds sang at 5 a.m. It was, you know, and so I didn't sleep. And it was like, but it was so interesting to observe. Even in that, I was like, there's something here. Like, yes, I was watching, but there was something else going on. And it's like, and realizing I could have asked more questions too. Like there's still something else there. And then something popped in the day and it's like, oh, how much was I aware of that? It was actually the day that everybody was arriving to Rome for CF. And I did not go out. You know, I stayed in my room. And you know, whatever that was, not right or wrong, but it's like we begin to notice what we're choosing and ask a question. It's like, interesting. What is this? What other choice do I have here? Is this the energy that matches the energy I'd like for my living? Is this the lightness that I know is available? What am I making real that isn't? So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you all destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pun, pack, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. Stella and I have this running joke. The Korean dramas, if you haven't seen them, I love them. They're so romantic. No, never show much copulation, at least in the ones that I've seen, but they stare into each other's eyes and there's glittery lights and pausing where they give camera angles in every direction. Anyways, I haven't seen those. I'm into the shoot 'em up bang bangs ones. That's my series right now. SWAT team. Plus, if it has a cute man, it fulfills something else. But yeah, what if we're, gosh, it's like yesterday in the Being You guys, if you watched it, you know, I was up on stage for chapter 4. But one of the things that came up too is that I remember the very first time I heard, it was Dane who said it in an evening intro. And he said, what if you were never wrong? Never, never. And every time he said never, it's like, okay, but like it was like energetic, like, oh, you don't know about this one. And then he'd be, not even for that, never. And I'd be like, okay, like barriers would come down. And then it'd be like, well, what about, or, no, never. Well, but never, never, never. And so that space of like, wow, what if you've never, ever have ever been wrong? Like notice like what that, I mean, for me, it's like these chunks that start to come off going, fuck, Really? Never? So if you've never been wrong, what could you receive from those choices? This lifetime or any other lifetime? Yeah, Simone said, isn't never two of the words to delete from language section? Yeah, little different in the sense that it's having, going to the energetics of being wrong, because it's like, what if that wasn't wrong? Is for an infinite being, can anything ever be wrong? No, no. And also acknowledge that, okay, well, that choice created that. Okay, maybe not my best choice, but not from the wrongness of it, because wrongness will only contract and cut off your receiving possibilities. Cool. Thank you. Thank you. All right. Maraiki. Maraiki. Is that it? Maraiki.
Mareike, yes, you got it. Thank you. Wow, that just moved me to tears what you just said, and I just realized how much I am in a struggle with allowance right now in many different ways. That I'm actually my intention to raise my hand was to talk about transliteration in a way of yeah, whether this is also applying to the written word in a way that my son, he's 9 years old and he's visiting a free school, so they don't have a fixed schedule they are following, so they're rather invited to choose to learn whatever they want to, but he's he's in such a big struggle with learning to read and to write. He's good at mathematics and science, but reading and writing really is a hazard for him. And I'm like, going to my patterns in a way. Yeah, you have to kind of like exercise, and I'm like, and I feel like my not being in allowance with this is just
So how
also.
old is he?
Say again.
How old is he?
He's 9 years now.
So one of the things I've always been aware of is that the space that we be contributes to everything, right? So if you have a point of view, it's like really the gift of podpocking your points of views,
Yeah.
And I recall when my son was growing up and he went to Waldorf school, so they had, very different way, kind of more of a,
Yeah, I know this approach as
right?
well. Yeah.
So it's that sense of like, and I was teaching kindergarten, and his cousins who were in kindergarten were already reading and writing, and he wasn't. And then I started to help him with his homework, and all this, my own stuff came up. And I really
Yeah.
look at my points of views about learning, my points of views of, education, age, like, and these are all the big fours. They're all the AIs. There's no question. It's all going to conclusion of what someone else has decided is right.
Yeah, I see. And I start now getting an idea of how powerful these big fours can be if you just let them in a way. And yeah, since let's say 2 weeks, I'm in this, but how do I get to the point of allowance, truly being in allowance? Because I really I am aware of how much this is kind of like an issue to me. I didn't even know this before.
So what have you decided, or what have you, like, what's your point of view here?
Somehow I'm afraid that he's not gonna, fulfill his dreams.
Okay, so what do you know about fear?
It's how do you say it in English? It's
Distractor implants?
yes, distractor implant, exactly.
Yeah. So, okay, fear isn't real. So what else is it? What's underneath that? What's your point of view?
Yes, somehow he is old enough now to know.
Okay. So, and if he's not reading and writing, what's your point of view about him?
He will not make it in a way.
Okay.
Reading is important.
Okay. So, truth, is that your point of view?
No,
So, are you
no,
going, are you trying to,
just like, what I just perceive right now is like, I'm like being caught in all these interpretations and yeah, also, I just lost the word. Yeah, or my surrounding, they're kind of like judging him and me for, choosing this school and blah blah blah, and it's just like a big blah 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 blah.
yeah. So, have you destroyed and uncreated all the projections, the expectations? Because this is like, how many of you, at some age or even now, can perceive when people project things at you? There was a lady here in class who had some stuff with her eyes going on, and I said something, and because we're all around, but no one's saying anything, and it's just very, I mean, like, how many people are going like, "What's going on with your eyes?" But let's not say anything, right? So I asked her questions about it, and then I also invited her to start to unpack all the projections of what people decide, conclude, oh, you should do that, you shouldn't do that. Oh, that was probably because of this and not that.
Yeah, and
Everyone
it's
start,
just like, yeah, as you say that, it's just like I feel so overwhelmed just
yeah.
hearing that.
So you get to destroy and uncreate. And this is something, that you don't have to tell them, but you can begin. It's like, destroy and uncreate all the expectations, all the judgments, projections, whatever that is, to give more space to what is true for him. So what question could you ask him that would allow him to have his own awareness about reading? And if it wasn't about saving him,
Exactly.
what else would you choose?
See, the whole idea of sending him to this school was about, giving him the space to develop in his pace, in his, you know, according to his interests, according to what he thinks is important to him. But now I feel so trapped in a way that, damn it. I'm still functioning from the point of view of other people.
So what would be fun for him? Because this is interesting. I mean, we all, a question is like, what is your first language? It's like, for some people it is numbers, mathematics, sometimes for those of you that speak English, you might go, wow, Japanese. And it's like the weirdest things, but we have things from other lifetimes. So is there something that you could clear that would give him more space to choose? And, my son didn't learn to read until second grade. And it was interesting because there was that sense, and he daydreamed a whole lot, but when he got the interest, he got into a series that was called Spiderwick. We also, he was in a Waldorf school, so we didn't have TV, but when he got into that series, it was like 4 books over one weekend, and then he became an avid reader, and he was so like OCD that he would read series, and in his shelf he would leave a space because he knew another series, in that series another book was coming, and then he would start with the next one, right?
Oh,
But
wow.
as he would read, he would laugh, and I was like, wow, he really is in it, right? So
Yeah.
where is the joy in reading, like, for him?
Hold on. Is it possible? I mean, I just discovered something. Just a couple of days ago, we were kind of like selecting a movie on Netflix, and you have all these little prescriptions of movies. If you just click on it, but you don't start it, and he
Yep.
was actually almost literally telling me what is this movie about, and I said, "Did you just read that?" And he said, "No."
Okay, so everything that is, and everywhere you've defined what reading is or how you read, that may be different from him. So it's like, wow, what was that? That's so cool. So you may have a whole different way of reading
Yeah,
them,
that
you know?
that that was I what I was thinking in that situation. I was just like, well, hold on, because there were some specific words you just don't come up with, you know. And I was like, whoa, what is this about? And then there was another day he did a similar thing. I cannot really recall the situation, but it was the same, like wondering on my side, like, how did you get that?
So here's a clearing. Let me see if I can pass it because I'm not on my computer, but I'm gonna, and then we can add, let's see if there's something else to add. Stella, I'm gonna send it to you and you can put it in the chat. If you like. So it's, what have you made so vital, valuable, and real? So let's just say all the big fours and the fifth. About the order, a feudal structure of language and linguistics that keeps you from being the chaos that would allow you to transliterate all language and instill the chaos of telepathic communication. Will you destroy and uncreate all that?
Yes.
Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and puck, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. So what capacity does he have?
A lot. He just
Yeah.
has a grasp of it in a whole different way. I cannot really tell, but it's just like he's absorbing it in a way.
Yeah. So what question can you ask him that would invite him to have ease with now acknowledging what he does know? So just be in the question, because all of a sudden I start to get my teacher hat on. It's like, wow, what exercises could we do? It's like, what?
Okay.
Also that willingness for us to have the space of allowance, but okay, what
Yeah.
capacity does he have here?
Yeah.
Because he's not
Exactly.
dumb.
No. No.
No, not stupid, you know.
Not at all. He's so clever.
Yes. So it's like, it's almost like those kids that don't speak and everybody
Mm.
starts speaking. Oh my God, you know, they're like, you see them as adults, it's like, well, why would I speak? Everybody was just so dumb. There was nothing to say, right? So it's like, what capacity does he have? And so
Yes.
as you start presenting different things, leaving him notes, maybe, you know, you start to put a note in his lunchbox or something, you know, of, you know, whatever that might be, where it's just this play. It's this, like, how would you write me a note? You know, or whatever that is. It's like, so what else is possible there? If he wasn't a wrongness, and yes, reading and writing are incredible tools that amazingly in the future, in the way we're going, are becoming obsolete. You have audiobooks, right? You have now this, I
Yeah.
don't know, program that you kind of tell them what you want to write and it writes it for you, a whole paper.
That's what I was thinking as well, because when he's moving through the internet on YouTube, he always uses the speaking searching function thing, and he's so clever and, you know, working his way around. So
Wow. So everything that is in all the big fours, all the AIs, like what is it creating for the future? And where can the written language, you know, be something of interest? Because, you know, Gary has said it, like if we have, you know, different things occurring around the world, internet might stop working. And then what? This was all to stop working. How would we reach out to each other? How many phone numbers do you actually know if you could call people? Addresses, like, you know, like,
myself, but only myself.
you know, we talk about how much we use even the navigation, right? It's like that willingness to go, okay, which way? I remember I was actually in Houston, very new to Houston before I moved there. And I actually was leaving Gary's house, super spaced out and for so many reasons. And I didn't have internet. I didn't have Wi-Fi on my phone for whatever reason. So, and I had to go to the bathroom. So I was like, all right, I'm driving. And then I got distracted because there's beautiful homes left and right. I was like, wow. And then I was like, all right, left or right, right. Okay. All I knew, I needed to get a main strip of a road. Then I would kind of have a sense of where to go. Okay. Right or left, straight, straight. Okay. Right or left, left. Okay. Until I came to a little pizza place, stopped, went to the restroom, and then got connected to their Wi-Fi and was able to move through my day. But it's like, how many of you don't trust that you have the capacity to navigate through your life or the world? So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pan and pak, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. So what can you choose? So what would it create for his future if you turned off that? I don't know what AI, what it is that allows it to interpret or to read for him or navigate, yeah, what's being said. Or maybe even things like, wow, if that all disappeared, how would you navigate through here? How would you know where to go? Like, ask him some questions.
Yeah, thank you. That's a good idea. Starting asking questions.
What does he know? And maybe it's like, why would I do that? This is quicker, faster. Okay, but that he probably can. It's like, why would I?
Yeah.
So what would make it fun to do it? So let me run this clearing again and see. Yes, man, Sabrina's all, thank you for keeping us on our toes with that clearing, right? So what have you made so vital, valuable, and real, which we're actually going to just go and all the big fours and the fifth element about the order of feudal structure of language and linguistics that keeps you from being the chaos that would allow you to transliterate all language and instill the chaos of telepathic communication. Will you destroy and uncreate all that? Right, wrong, good, and bad, pan and pak, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. So how many structures of languages have you made so true and real that you refuse to be transliteration because you believe you need to have that in order to understand or speak a language? So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right, wrong, good and bad, pan, pak, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. Yeah, the chaos of telepathic communication, it's like huge. And the moments that I've witnessed certain people, myself, there's moments, even like Portuguese is close to Latin, but even other languages, like they're speaking, I'm not just keep speaking, like I could perceive on receiving it. And then there's that subtle moment where it's like, oh, wait, I don't know Japanese, or I don't know whatever language, or that one's like not at all close to Latin, so I couldn't possibly know it. Those are all the AIs that are there to pull you from what it is that you know and all the capacities you have. So everything that is and everywhere you allowed the AIs, all the AI actualizer, all the big fours to pull you back, to doubt your capacities and what's possible, you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pan pak, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. Yeah, she's all, I concluded that I will never know Japanese. Yes, and you're a powerful motherfucker because that's your point of view. Guess what? You never will. Exactly. So, wow. So all the big fours that keep all of us from having the ease of all 9 trannies, will we destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pan pak, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. Cool. What else about transliteration? Was there something else?
No,
Maybe.
thank you. I'm just like, my head is just, yeah, empty now.
Cool. And how much do we judge an empty head? Right? We like everywhere we judge the empty head. So we fill it up to somehow, it's like all the conclusions that you need a full head, like with the mind, to be able to speak, to write, to understand. Yeah. And everywhere we bought that from all lifetimes, that keeps us from tapping in to our knowing that's like that, where you destroy and uncreate it all.
Yes.
Good, bad, pan, pak, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. Cool.
Thank you.
So welcome. I like it. Simone is all. I concluded I don't like Germans. Might not even be this lifetime. Well, Simone, aren't you German? So I concluded I don't like Germans. So does that include you?
That's the thing. I just realized like, wow, there is a hate of Germans, but then I create myself in Germany, which is interesting. Like, yeah.
What a nice trap to always hate you.
Mm-hmm. Well, the big five bye there.
Yeah. And everything that is right and wrong, good and bad, fun, pack, all 9 shorts, boys, poets, and beyond.
There was even a class where like, I mean, I'm just saying it, where I would like, if I could, I would kill all the Germans, which is like,
Which includes you.
it
Yeah.
was like in Australia, like there I could say it because like other side of the world for not Germans to hear it. And then all the Germans in the class are like, I'm the same, thank you for asking.
So, but this is interesting because it's like, okay, so noticing that and then going, what did I know by choosing to be German? What could I choose to change, whatever it is that I hate or whatever it is that that is?
The first thing that comes is like to force me to choose not be German whilst living in German, like to go to infinite being.
Cool.
To just see, German is not German, it's the point of view German.
Yeah. And all the definitions of that, right?
I've never seen it like this. That's amazing. And what else is possible?
Cool. Yeah. You're welcome. All right. Unam, hello. Let's.
I had a nap in between after
Ah.
so much space. It's like I'm space after the CF training today. There's just no thinking. It's just being and no recognition of who the hell am I. Okay, what was coming to my what I was becoming aware of is that, right from a little child, I've always wondered, is language necessary?
Mm.
And it popped up again for me because in my reality, language is something that we use for convenience because we've got used to communicating by language.
So, yeah, go ahead.
Because it's not the language, for me, it's not the language we speak, it's that energy that is there. So you don't need the words to express that energy.
Well, this reminds me of this, the sense of like the being, right? When someone's like, well, I'm just going to go be and I'm going to sit and, but it's like we've also embodied. So there's that sense of like the action and the movement, right? But this part of what you're saying, so what capacities do you have to communicate? You are maybe beginning to acknowledge. And how can you use the written and the spoken word as well? Because consciousness includes everything.
And judges nothing, yeah.
Such as nothing. So that, yes, how many different ways do we have to communicate telepathically and energetic, like all those pieces, right? And yet, okay, so everything you have decided, concluded, all the big fours and the fifth that you have, wow, like refusing, separating from transliteration. Will you all destroy and uncreate all that? Right and wrong, good and bad, pan, pack, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. It's like the energy of aligning and agreeing and resisting and reacting. So no, I don't lean language. So then you refuse, yes. And then, or you resist and react, or you align and agree, and both of them lock you up, rather than like, what are the infinite possibilities? And that's the transliteration, the ability to speak and understand all languages. It's like, what? Okay, cool. What would that be like for you? Where have you chosen that? Where have you heard people speak and you're like, yeah, I gotcha? Where do you cut off your receiving and your gifting because of language? Okay, everything that is, yeah, well, you destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pan, pak, all 9 shorts, boys, poets, and beyonds. How many of you used your culture and your language to separate as the justification and the reason to separate? So everything that is and everything that brings up, will you destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pan, pak, all 9 shorts, boys, poets, and beyonds. So
And
what else? Yeah.
no, what just showed up in my universe was something which I always found to be, if I can use the word, handicapping me. But now I always then asked, how could I? It was so beautiful. I discovered this. I could not write answers when I was a kid, though I knew what the answer was. So I failed my exams and I was told, oh my God, I'm not good enough. And last year, when I was doing the Maestro survey, it was, I just couldn't do the survey. And I knew all the answers. You know what? I couldn't put it into words.
Mhm.
And I was questioned, what is this? What can I do about it? Can I change it? And suddenly the popped up the question, how can I convert the energy into words? And bang, head on. It took me half an hour to do that survey.
So great. So that's exactly that willingness to go to a question to then create that ease of what you're asking for. Because if people go, it's like, well, I could just can't put it into words. I don't know. That won't give you what you're asking for. It's like, okay, so you ask, okay, what can I do to convert this energy, what I'm aware of, into words? So what if when you speak, what if when you listen, that's the request too? Because you're aware of the energy, right? All language is energy. So what can you be or do to convert that, to be able to receive it, to be able to, I mean, this is where we get to play and then notice too. Yeah. So now you have that one example for yourself and going, oh, I went to question and then boom. Right.
And imagine if I had this tool when I was a child, I wouldn't have gone through all that shit for so many years.
Right. So this is the gift of going to the question. It's like, okay. It's like, because if you got that, you know something. So how many of you, truth, are you transliterate? Yes or no? What do you get? There's no right or wrong answer. So truth, am I transliterate? Yes. No. No. Yes. You know, I play with that way because you're almost like, no, like yes, it's lighter, but play with it because there is no right or wrong answer, but then you can become aware of your point of view and what's there. So if you get a no going, okay, interesting. So everything that is, I'm not. Okay. And then you pan pak, and then you get to like, oh, so truth. What is that? Where did I buy that this was not possible? Where does this in my reality right now seem like an impossibility? Or as Stella said, a science fiction. And then you get to pock and pot it. It's like, wow, interesting. Because many of the things that we be as infinite beings, humanoids, it doesn't exist in this reality from the linear point of view. You know, it's like when Gary a couple years ago maybe asked me, he goes, you need to examine how you've created your money. And I was like, oh my God, why does that seem like such a chore? Like what? And I was like, I know that I've generated and created money, but when I hear that question, I think I have to deliver linearity and it does not compute in my world. So I resisted becoming aware of what was true for me with money and the way I create money, because it didn't match what I thought it needed to match. So when you said, how do I convert this? Put it into words, not that you're changing what you're aware of, but you can then deliver it in a way and still have the energy be congruent to what it is that you know.
This is so similar to what Shannon asked me in the intermediate, right, which is for your class. How did you create it? I have no idea. And since then, I've like tried to
Okay.
question myself. I couldn't do it.
We got to catch ourselves when we say, I have no idea, because that's almost like, I don't know. And yet it's like, like if you didn't go, I have no idea. It's like, okay, what do I know? One of the things that I've acknowledged with the 9 Trannies and in this situation or this story with money is that when you have a willingness to receive from everything and everyone, all 9 Trannies are available.
Yes.
And money shows up. So if you have a point of view, you're limiting your receiving. If you have a conclusion, you're limiting your receiving. If you're going into judgment, you're cutting off receiving and possibilities. So that's why a lot of what we've done in 9 Trannies is going, okay, wow, am I judging myself here? Yeah, what's my point of view? Because the more you clear that up, even the way we started the call with that relaxation exercises or that space, allowing more space, right? What's the gift of me? What's the gift of this? Like all of that allows you to receive from everything. Then it could be storming outside. It could be flooding and you can see the beauty in it, right? You can, and then allow yourself, okay, now, and that's that knowing, now it's the time to find a boat and get out of here, right? But if you go to the judgment and the wrongness of it, and this is all this, whatever, then you're cutting off that awareness to hear the whispers of the possibilities. Same thing with transliteration. If you have a point of view, a conclusion of, is it possible, not possible? How is it possible? You go to your head, you're limiting what's possible for you to receive. So what if part of the home play as we wrap up these 9 Trannies, it really is like, all right, I'm going to explore allowance and interesting point of view. And actually everybody on this call, someone from my team, make a note. We'll see what I have I want to play with actually allowance and interesting point of view for 30 days. Because I get that it is a key to unlocking not only more of the space of 9 Trannies, but also more of the space of receiving everything and having the ease to move around this planet without getting bombarded with other people's points of views or what shows up. You can just maneuver with some ease when you're willing to be interesting point of view and have an allowance. So I think Estella's taking a note. So we'll let you guys know about it and we'll see how we can make it easy for you guys to join us. Super. Because I would love to explore more of that. It's like I would love to have a planet with way more allowance and that space of interesting point of view where we can have the magic like Estella's talking about of like, wow, I know something else is available. That magic and ease of moving, creating, asking, being aware. Yes, no, here, there. Allow alliance. So, yeah, what else is possible? I kind of like it. Allow alliance, allowance. Cool.
Thank you, Sylvia.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And this is part of like, what else is possible? Like if you were to be willing to receive more of the gift of you, what would you discover? What capacities would allow themselves to show up with way more ease if you actually received the gift of you? Cool.
Can I ask you something else here?
Yes.
you've been, tell me, you've been teaching the 9 Trannies, and how much do you acknowledge, or do you ever, this is a personal question, go into self-doubt about being the 9 Trannies?
What's the question?
My question is, do you ever go into self-doubt about being the 9 Trannies ever?
I start to notice more where I'm not choosing to be them. Yes, it stands out a little more where I go to conclusion. My sister Cindy's here and she'll catch me at times. She's like, hello, Miss 9 Trannies. I was like, oh, yep, I went to conclusion. Yes. So yeah, please, definitely. But the gift of that is like, oh, noticing where I go to the conclusion and then can quickly go, okay, what can I ask for? What do I know? What am I aware of? But here's another piece. It's that space of, you're asking me, do I ever go to doubt? It's like, yes. And I would invite us to kind of shift that and go, wow, what can you acknowledge today about what you did choose, what you were being? Because it's like, where am I putting my intention? Everywhere I go to doubt, or what else can I choose? What did I choose? And what would, your life, our lives, realities be like if we no longer doubted us?
You know why I asked you is, you remember we had that conversation last time about what can I receive online for the CF training? And I went with that energy and it said, okay, Goa. So I came to Goa and I'm here for 5 days in a resort. Beautiful. I loved it. I had fun with it. And yes, it was so goddamn hot here that yesterday I asked for the rain. And within hours, it poured like anything. And I said, hell yeah, I created this. And then said, hell no, I'm not powerful enough to create this. Did I create it? Truth? Yes, I created it, but I'm not powerful enough to create this.
Those are the AIs. That is all the AI. So keep pocking all the big fours when that comes up. Pocking pod, because the AIs will create the doubt so that you loop back into not acknowledging your capacities. But you asked yourself, this is the part you asked yourself, it's like, truth, did I contribute to that? Yes. Be with what you know, and then pock all the fours after that. Yeah, because that'll be right behind, because like, oh, come on, who are you kidding? But it's like, what would it take for us to be such this aggressive presence with what it is that we know and be?
It's like with the AIs coming in, I'm not too sure whether everybody's aware of it's their universe, but in my universe, what's happening is I choose this and I loop back here, and then I say, oh, fuck, AIs, big four, uncreate and destroy it all. And I go here, and then it's as if this has been going on for the last couple of weeks, and I'm back being pulled here. And if I wasn't aware, I would be probably down in the dumps.
Yes.
It's happening so much in my world, right from I'll give you an example of choosing the right riches for you class. I chose it 2 years ago when they were beginning to make it a specialty and said, this is what I want to take to the world.
Yes.
And I cancelled my goddamn created cancelled my ticket. I'm not doing the class. Oh, uncreate and destroy the AI, the big four. And then I'm back again. It's so, and this is not only for the class. This is happening, for so many. I just feel a pull back. And I said, no, this is not me.
Exactly. So be aware that there will be that pullback, and you got to build that muscle to say, no, what do I know? What will this choice create for me and on the planet 500 years from now? You got to be in your knowing. You got to put on your big girl panties on and go, I'm not going there. I caught myself today at lunch. There was something I chose, and the way I presented some questions to someone, in front of the group. And then later they're like, what the fuck, Sylvia? And I was like, oh, I'm a little autistic. Sometimes I ask things, very directly. And I noticed where I started to justify it. I'm like, no, I'm not justifying what I said or how I said it. Yeah. Okay. That created something.
Yeah.
And, if it wasn't wrong, what did it create? And okay, again, where can we have more of the awareness of what our choice is going to create? And this is like that muscle. It's almost like we also had a day here where people were late. And here in Rome, there's certain things that come up with taxis not showing up on time or Uber's canceling on you, so forth. But it's like, at what moment did you already know you should book or leave 30 minutes earlier? So it's like, if we begin to acknowledge, where was I already aware of this, or what is the awareness, or what will this choice create? It's like, that's the power, and to say it happened to you is the disempowerment. So what did I know about what I chose and what that would create? Yeah. So what,
Absolutely.
yeah.
But
So
it's in expanding, because the more it's like last 2 to 3 weeks since the AI, this big force come out in my world, it's like huge, or probably the awareness of the AIs has become huge. So it's like become a mantra, all the big four, uncreate and destroy them all. You know what I mean?
yes. And that is going to be the other home play that I'd like to give you all, is for everything that comes up. And I may pass something in the group. There's someone made a screenshot with now all the fives, but with all the fours was another one, about having that reminder with everything clear, all the fours. That's the PRs, all the NORs, the NOR slimes, the AR actualizers, and the fifth one being everywhere you're going to save people. You don't have to understand it. Just start clearing it, and it will get weird, because these are the ways we've been functioning. But if we're going to actually truly get freedom, you're going to hear way more about all the big fives coming forward in many, many classes. I think Gary might even do a call or something on the big five, but there is a level of freedom available now with that many people may not choose and may leave, fine. But if you're willing to be with it and clear it, it may be that level of uncomfortableness where I think Simone kind of gave an energy where you're going to demand to choose something beyond, and you just got to keep going. You got to keep going. But it's like, think about how many reasons and justifications you have been giving to either not having the magic in your life that is possible, to, whatever challenges and problems that you say you have. It's like, if you start to destroy all the big fours and the fifth, it's like, now, all right, you might have a space of creating, of living, of acknowledging where you've been functioning and having another choice, opening up doors for possibilities that didn't exist before. Right? We are the courageous ones. If you haven't acknowledged that, news bulletin, we are the courageous ones. You are the courageous ones. You, every single one of you, are the courageous ones. Each and every one of you, you are. You wouldn't be here otherwise, especially on a 9Trannies class, even as cute as I am. But truly,
Who runs the AIs?
who cares?
Are they? I mean, they must be so judging. They're mean and nasty to be doing this to mankind.
What if you had no point of view, but just chose not to let them lead your reality anymore? And what if it wasn't even about fighting them? It's just being aware of them and knowing that you have another choice. So anything that doesn't allow that, will you all destroy and uncreate it all? Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds.
Thank you so much. I don't believe this is the last call. Can we do another series, please?
Yes, it's coming in October. We have, some of the information all being organized to send it out to you, and you're all invited, and you do get repeat prize. So We will have that in the email. I wonder too. And, I'm having a level up buttercup kind of conversation with myself as well. And, I'm not judging being uncomfortable, but it's uncomfortable. I don't make it wrong. But, people ask how you doing. I'm happy, relaxed, and uncomfortable. Weird. What do you want me to say? This is like what I'm choosing as my life and adventure. It's like, if I'm ever comfortable, it's like, that's a bit weird. And I'm obviously not choosing something different and greater. So, but that's for me. Like, what is it for you? So so
Maybe we could have a 9 Trannies club, a monthly club with you.
Huh. Okay. Well, let's
What
put that in the notes and see what else is possible.
It would be lovely. It's just a suggestion, a possibility that I'm suggesting is, as if we could just have a club whatever name pops up. And we could have where everybody could just meet once a month, and it would be so beautiful.
Yeah, because that's what I'm aware of too. I don't know about how exactly it's been for all of you, but for me, jumping on these calls, coming together with this demand of whatever's coming up, not as a wrongness, but to actually go beyond it, to have and open up the doors for more of the 9 Trannies to be on the planet. That for me is a level of fun that I don't get a whole lot out here. Okay, I could go to dinner, I could go dancing, but it's like, fuck, 9 Trannies, like more in this reality. That's a level of fun that I really appreciate. So I'm grateful that you guys chose this, that has us go where we go, and then open one more door, another door. So, gala party. I love it. 9 Tranny gala party.
9 Tranny would be on this.
Yeah. So let's see what pops.
So much, so grateful to you for this.
Thank you. And start to notice the space and the energy. From the moment we started the call to now, it's like, what level of allowance, what have you acknowledged that's different? And please, please don't judge yourself if you go to the wrongness or the judgment or the conclusion or the doubt, because that's another trap. It's another trap when you ask, do I doubt myself? It's like, yeah, I have those moments. Okay, move on. It's like, for those of you that live close to me, Cindy sees me in action. I'm not perfect by far, but I sure jump out a lot quicker than most. And there is more of that ease in my world. It's like, all right, there's moments I catch myself in my head. Yeah. Right. But it's like, it doesn't last long because I know it doesn't create. It's like, no, I'm not going to fucking judge me. And okay, like the courage to go, what am I avoiding and refusing? And it might not be the stuff that sucks. It might actually be the greatness for all of us that we're not allowing ourselves to tap into. So I'd say we keep going on and on and go into the galaxy. I love you guys. Yeah. Yeah. I was out to dinner with some friends yesterday, and it was so interesting. We were talking about, and it comes up where like people get together either to gossip, hey, let's go out to dinner, and everybody's gossiping. And then I found myself last night, and we were talking about, well, what are you asking for? Like, hey, we had these conversations of these different elements. And it's like, that level of creation. So what can you create in your life where you're having these conversations and being the catalyst for that spark of possibilities out in the world? And then allow the quantum entanglements, the elementals, and the 9 Trannies to contribute to that. So yeah. What can we be choosing now? Yes, yes. Yeah. And please, that the gift and the power of your joy, it's priceless, priceless, priceless. I saw Sir Pilzo like, I'm just gonna go light up some more stars. And I'm very happy and excited. That energy allows the elementals to contribute to you. When you have that space, the joy, that enthusiasm, that play, elementals are there right with you, like, hey, now what? That's where everything moves quicker, faster. That's why I'm talking about allowing yourself to be aware of, if your energy is like this, okay, something you are making real is not true for you. And you get to go, okay, what else can I choose now? Pock and pot, all the fours, pock and pot, all the big fives. If you want to start adding that, it's like pock, pock. Okay, whatever that is. Oh, okay, what is true for me? What can I choose right now? It's like, I want to say be the lightness, but for many people, to be the lightness doesn't seem like a true reality. So seek the lightness, find the lightness of what that is for you. And then from that space, what else can I choose? And then money come to me. Money comes to me. Yay, wow. Yeah. And everything else. Because your knowing will come to you quicker and faster if you have the space of lightness. The joy, the money, all of it is more available. Your ask, that request you have, it all shows up. Okay, you want it to rain? Hey, and begin to ask as you acknowledge you changed the weather. The rain came. It's like, okay, we'll contribute to you, right? And now ask, wow, if I have a capacity for that, what else could I ask for? Like truly, we're living on a planet, like, I fly a lot, but as I fly and look at the earth, I'm always amazed at how different, the terrain is, right? And how beautiful it is. And then I ask, like, okay, what can I contribute to your earth? It's like just a different perspective, right? Being above the land and going, what can I contribute to you? With no conclusion that if it's dry, that it needs rain, right? Or whatever else. It's like, what can I contribute to you? What can I be here for you? Because none of it is separate. And there is a gift that the earth has that as you contribute to it, it contributes back to you. Cool. All right, I have another question with Michelle. And please, if anybody has more questions about transliteration, please bring those up. Michelle, actually, I was thinking of you the other day going, did I ever respond to her message? But go ahead.
No, you never, but it's okay. I know. Like
Maybe.
I know. We use our telepathic knowledge, and I know.
Okay.
It will arrive. It will be on time whenever it is the time.
Sweet. Thank you.
So my question was, you were saying that to receive money, we will need to be capable or open to receive, right?
And to be.
Okay, and to be. So then you said something like, oh, if you have some conclusions or some so those judgments, all what you have been talking today. So those are barriers, right?
Mm.
So if we have all that barriers, we won't have
Well,
9Trannies or
yeah.
money.
Well, thank you. So one of the things, as you as an infinite being, do you receive?
Yes.
You are an infinite being where you have infinite receiving, infinite being, infinite knowing, infinite perceiving. Now, do we cut that off? Yes, we do. And those are those barriers. When you have a conclusion, you hold on to that conclusion as the right conclusion. You cannot allow anything else in but that. You have a judgment. You cannot allow anything else in besides what's that judgment. So that's the gift of then creating, whatever's coming up for you, to allow the space for you to receive what is actually so.
So
Show up.
any judgment or any conclusion will va a detener el flujo de whatever it is.
Well, it limits whatever, like energy is energy. So that flow of money that was coming, you put something up, a conclusion about your mother, you think it's just a conclusion about your mother, but it's like the flow of money was like, I was coming, what happened? All right, fine.
I thought it was like 4 types. So if I had a judgment of money, well, the money will stop, but not my 9 training. Oh.
This is the gift of noticing what is going on. You think it's just about, your child and not having allowance for your child, or the judgments you have about your body. No, it's all of it is tied in. That's why when you have more of the space of allowance, an interesting point of view, more can show up, more ease, more money.
Okay, so interested point of view on everything.
Yes. Yes. And really,
Copy paste for everything.
yes. And this is, Jane has that app. Is it interesting point of view, right? The app. Oh, who does it
Mm.
belong? Well, you can use that app but we have the Being You app. Anyways, I'm not sure if it's an app, but interesting point of view. If you were to use that tool, let's go for 3 days. Let's try it. 3 days
Okay.
on everything. Because everything is just an interesting point of view. Your judgment, what people say to you, what they don't say to you. Someone looks at you and you think it means something. Interesting point of view. I have that point of view, because you go to meaning, conclusion, right? Definition, like interesting point of view. I have that point of view. But notice, what would that create? It's like, you'd be like an empty head. You'd be like, what do I do? But it's like everything's an interesting point of view. That space may feel really weird, but from there, okay, so what would I like to choose? You might find yourself with so much space, you're like, I'm bored. Because everything you were using to fight, to resist, to react is no longer there. So now you're like, why does it feel like I have eternity of time and space? Like, gosh. So try it, challenge accepted. Simona took it on. Yay.
Yeah,
Interesting. 3 days. You guys want to play it? Put it in the chat. Interesting
sure.
point. Everything. So put yourself a reminder. And if you have the space, I would invite you to do it, like put an alarm, like say, I don't know, say you're going to travel somewhere and you're on a train, you got 3 hours. Put on your alarm, maybe every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes. Interesting point of view. Let yourself be pinged. Oh, am I interesting? Interesting point of view. I have this point of view, because it catches you, because everything is coming at you all the time and you are most likely reacting. We are most likely reacting to everything. So I'm going on a train tomorrow. I will do that as well.
Yay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. Notice that energy of play that you be, Michelle. When you have that space of play, enjoy, do things flow more in your life? Yes. Yes. And when you go to conclusion, or you're resisting, reacting, or you've gone to a point of view, right? Or made something mean something significant or whatever, is that flow the same way?
No.
No, but you do know that energy.
Mm.
You do know that. So everywhere you haven't valued that space of you, well, you destroy and uncreate it. Everywhere it's been seen like the immature, like not real. Yeah, at all. Right and wrong, good and pack, all 9 shorts, boys, poveds, and beyonds. And I gotta say, you look way more beautiful in that energy too. But
Thank you.
welcome. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Luti says, this confused me. Pak and pod, when I'm just know something and I had uncomfortable in my body, it seems like I'm not an interesting point of view. So I realized that in this space, I started to judge myself. Yeah. Yep. Say, judgment not in my playground. And it's just going to be keep going, keep going, keep going. Yeah, cool. All right. We have another question. Edie.
Hi, thank you, Sylvia, for the amazing course. There is a question from the Mandarin participants. If they want to know the difference between transmigration and the other is space folding.
Say that again.
Space folding is kind of like you folding the space when
Ah.
you, what's the difference? Yeah, I will also translate in Mandarin.
Okay. Okay, so yeah, okay, so we could in these last minutes also ask about some of the other 9 trannies. So transmigration, and we can put that up, Stella, too, but the ability, you know, to move through space without bus, train, or automobile. So that capacity to move through space. So this is where you got to ask, you know, oftentimes what we create in this reality is that we're looking at time, right? Time becomes a really something real and significant. So you look at moving from one place to another and you look at time as being a component. Oh, that'll take me 3 hours. That'll take me 1 hour. You also, so you also have this, you know, the other thing we talk about is the speed of space. So the willingness to play and ask for the speed of space as you're looking to clean your house, write a book. Okay, speed of space. Like, what can you be as you have multiple tasks? Ask for the speed of space that's just much quicker than the speed of light, you know? So it's this willingness to ask for it to contribute to you. Now, when you talk about folding space, it's folding space. You know, the one thing that comes into my mind about that is in science, there's something about folding space. Like, I don't know if it was just a movie or what, but that willingness to fold space and go through something to be quicker in time. So what's quicker there? Is it speed of space or folding space? And is folding space real? Can you fold space? It's like when people say, let me hold space for you, you know, something in the spiritual world, I think that a lot of people say. It's like, why would you hold space? Just be space. No point of view is infinite space. So transmigration, yep, is the ability to move from one place to another without a car, a plane, train, or bus. Now, do I have transmigration down to where I'm not needing to buy my flight ticket? Not yet. But what it is that I do acknowledge is the transmigration through space, not time. And many of you have experienced this already, but haven't acknowledged it. How many of you, when you are in the midst of a task, all of a sudden look up and it's like, 3 minutes? Like, really? That's it? And it, you know, it seemed like with everything you got done, it would have been 15 minutes, say, but when you've had that experience where time is not matching what you just did, right? So for me, when I drive, now my sister will attest, I do speed because it's fun. But that willingness, okay, wow. One of the things that I've just started to acknowledge recently is transmigration. It hasn't been a thinking. All these 9 trannies are not a thinking, right? You guys all know that. It's not figuring out with your head. It's a being. And one of the things I started to put to words that I noticed is that when I'm moving, whether I'm driving or looking for, you know, out and walking in the streets, there's a sense that I'm always actually speaking with the molecules. There is some communication with the molecules that has me glide and move. And so how many of you also have this capacity or aware of that? That seems so strange and weird. You're like, what the heck? So it's like, if every molecule is listening, what are you saying? You know, how many molecules, you know, did Punan speak to when she asked for rain and they responded? You know, How many of you, as you move, say through the airport or wherever you're at, just seems like everybody moves out of your way. So is that just they happen to move out of your way? Or are you being an energy that's asking the molecules to assist, all the elementals to assist for you to move through the space that you need to move? These are the moments when everything seems to work out for you. You got to begin to go, wow, what am I being here? Right? Transmigration. What capacities do we have to move through space without time being significant or important or real? So does that help?
Yes. Wow, such a miraculous space. Thank you.
That's what's available, a miraculous space. Yeah. And the space is space, miraculous in the sense that if we start to listen, and thank you for the meme, if every molecule is listening, what are you saying? What are you asking? Yeah, they're listening. They are. Every molecule of your body's listening, every molecule of your bank account, every molecule of your business, every molecule of everything is listening. I love it. Because my car, Mary Kay says, my car and me are becoming more and more a team in being transmigration. Yeah. There was my son as he had just learned to drive, and we went out to dinner, and he's, sharing a couple things. And one of the things he shares, like, yeah, when I drive to, so-and-so's house through the country, I take the wide turns, and he was just enjoying driving and speeding. But there was that moment of like, what do you say to that? You shouldn't do that. No. So I didn't say anything. And then he continued with another story and blah, blah. He goes, oh, aren't you going to say anything? And it's like, well, I go, what did I say about the driving? I go, well, one thing is, I know you're aware. I go, and you'll know when there's another car coming if you're willing to know that, and ask your car to also let you know. And it's like, that is a much bigger empowering tool than you shouldn't be driving like that. You're going to get in an accident. You're going to, right? Because that's more of that. But the willingness to go, hey, dude, you want to act like you don't know and cut off that awareness. Okay, you're going to create a different reality. But if you start acknowledging, you can enjoy that and know when not to. So everywhere you are cutting off and acknowledging that you do know, well, you destroy and uncreate all that times a godzillion. Right and wrong, good and bad, pot and pock, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. Yes, that's part of what I enjoy to speed to. And I love to go on, the carpool lane when I'm driving by myself. I'm all right. What time when do I turn in? Not yet. I can keep going. Okay, turn in now. And then I'll see a cop or, yeah. So you get to have fun in those ways, but you have to be willing to have your awareness. And if you cut that off, yeah, choice creates. Yeah. Yeah, those kind of awarenesses. The movie that I really enjoyed too is the movie not Matrix, but the one where they're taking the drug, Limitless. There's the movie Limitless, Lucy too, but Limitless I enjoyed because it seemed that it was this drug for a while, and then he came off it, but he had this heightened, was willing to have his awareness of that truck's coming, it's going to hit that. So if we allow the awarenesses to have them, what new choices can we have? Just like you're saying here, April, I was aware of a bicycle was coming my way without seeing, and I stopped automatically. That's your knowing. Yeah. More of that. Keep asking for more of everything that's opened up. I hope that answered their question. Yeah. And follow what's light for you. Acknowledge what's light for you, even if it doesn't make sense. Ask for more of that. Ask for what it is that you know about the 9 trannies. What can you be, know, perceive, and receive about everything you be, know, perceive, and receive that would allow you to embody and be the 9 trannies all the time. And anything that doesn't allow that times a godzillion, we destroy and uncreate it all. Right and wrong, good and bad, pan pak, all 9 shorts, boys, povets, and beyonds. So you know, if you're willing to have that challenge, 3 days of interesting point of view, willing to step into more allowance. Yeah, what could we create? What could we create and be on this planet that would allow all of us to have way more fun, way more money, way more joy, way more of this like it's like that effervescent thrum of like orgasmic, you know, just yum, yum, yum.
Wow.
That's so nice to see you, Olga. Olga was the one that I was hugging all day today. We just like, all right, wait, reposition, hug again.
Yes. It's just so nice to hug you.
Awesome.
Oh.
What else is possible? Serpil says, I knew something is going on with my car and that my husband needs to go to the mechanic with the car. He was sure that everything is okay, but after checking the car, had to go to the car doctor. Yes. So how do you, that willingness to not give up your knowing and then just know how to present it, right? It's like, you know, it's so funny. The joke is that we as women, many of us here can podpoc and fix a car. And the men are like, nope, hold on. Let me open the hood. Let me see what's going on. Like, what if you didn't negate or eliminate your knowing, but just found a way to make it easy for them to receive it? So, and had fun with that. Beautiful people. I adore you. I'm grateful. And please know, and I'm going to say it one more time, you are not as fucked up as you still think you are for some of you. Really, you really are not. And if you didn't compare yourself to anyone else, what could you acknowledge you are choosing? Where is that lightness that you're choosing? So where is that joy for you? How much more magic can you ask for? And what do you be that is the gift on this planet more than you will maybe ever put words to? Yeah, thank you. And thank you to my amazing team. You guys have been awesome. Really, really, thank you so much. And all of you that just choose to ask for more and go into the beyonds of this reality. So continue to play, enjoy you. We will let you know about the next series if you'd like to join, if you want to share it with other people. And if you are up for the big adventure, please also join Gary Jane Simone's 9Trannies, because that what you guys have opened up in these series, if it's this one or many others, know that you've contributed to that class. You have by what you're choosing to acknowledge and claim, and then just keep choosing. So thank you all. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. See you all real soon. Thank you.
Thank you. See you soon.
I'm so grateful for each and every one. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you for this
Bye.
amazing series.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
very much.
you. Are so welcome. Until next time. Ciao.
Yes.